I also attached my sense of identity to losing weight. I always felt like lower, or I always felt like a background character in my own movie. I started to believe that sexual harassment was the best I could get. That was when I was completely tied to the idea that the skinnier I get, the prettier I am. Hi guys, so today's video will be a little chit chat get ready with me. So I decided to put out a video that will tell you guys about my past, about my history, especially when it comes to weight loss, and I wanted you guys to get to know me a little bit more. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my family's relationships and how that changed and influenced my weight gain and weight loss journey. I'm also going to talk about my friends, their influence, and more importantly, I'm going to talk a lot about male attention and tell you guys a little bit more about my experiences and what I've noticed when I was overweight versus, when I'm a little bit more fit now. Please comment, like, and subscribe for more content, and please enjoy. I've always been overweight for as long as I can remember. Didn't really receive that much male attention when I was in the younger years, specifically in elementary school and high school. And the reason for that is because I was very shy and I was very insecure about my weight. Do you remember that I used to raise my voice a little bit higher, kind of like a kid voice, like what Ariana does when she gets nervous?
Album are we?
Yes, my album is coming this summer.
And I used to do it because I know it makes me sound sweet, and I always wanted to be nice to people, because not because I virtued kindness, but also because I just didn't want them to make fun of me. And the reason for that is because I knew I was overweight and I knew I would be a target for that. Oh shit, I got some on my thing. When I was 13/14, in 1 year I gained 30 pounds. And I guess, there's a lot of factors that could be into that. I only remember me continuing to gain weight as I got older and older, and then eventually that led on to going into high school and into my undergrad years. So I wanted to start with high school for a little bit, because that's actually very, very important for me, because I was such a young age and I was developing and finding my own identity, and at the same time would always subconsciously attach it to my weight and how I looked physically. My family was always encouraging me to lose the weight. Half of it was to get healthy and avoid childhood obesity, but I did notice that it came from kind of like a superficial kind of point of view. So I remember when I was in high school and I saw these really cute pair of jeans, and I asked my mom if I could get them, and she told me she would buy it for me if I lost weight. And obviously this is not a good thing to say to your kid, especially someone who's still developing, and she didn't mean it like that. I'm not blaming things on them, but I am saying that did impact me in obviously a very serious way. She wanted me to get healthier as I grew up. In terms of friendship in high school, nothing really impacted me that much. It's safe to say that it was more about the male attention that I got, or should I say lack of male attention that I got. And it could be for a couple of different reasons, I don't think it was always about my weight. I think it was about the kind of people that I hung out with, because I don't know, I feel like in high school everyone has a clique or whatever. And, oh yeah, for my mascara, I always have it like this because I always get on my lids, so I'm just gonna let it dry and then wipe it off later. But I like this boy in the business field, and obviously our cliques were very different. I was in the arts and he was in the math, so we didn't really clash too much. But I swear, I'm pretty sure he liked me, 99%. I'm pretty sure he liked me back. And I was like, I don't get it. Why are we messing around when we know that we like each other? When we could just stop wasting time and playing these games? When you like someone, might as well just tell them so that you can live with your life and actually be together and enjoy those experiences together. But this one time my friend, he told me because basically, okay, so I did kind of ask him out, I asked his friend if he liked me, and he said yes, and I was like, okay, would he date me? And he said no, and I was like, what? But so I asked my friend about it. I was like, what does this even mean? Like, I don't get it. And then he told me, I remember this when I was in grade 10, he told me that a boy like him doesn't deserve a thick girl like me. And I get it. Like, I get it. Like, you're trying to be nice and you're trying to be like, you're a strong, powerful, independent woman who doesn't need it. But I also feel like the fact that he put in the word thick specifically was saying that my weight was related to his decision. For the longest time, I really do believe that the only reason why he didn't date me was because I was a little bit bigger. And like, that's so sad to say and so sad to hear and recognize, but honestly I think that's the truth. So that's what I lived with when I was a teenager. And then to make it even better, to put the cherry on top, I did have some insecurity issues because my two best friends were very, very attractive. Not even just talking about their bodies, shapes, or sizes, but even their faces and like their personality. Like, they were very funny, charismatic, smart, and they knew what they wanted to do in life. And I was half of what, or at least I believed I was half of what I thought they were. The way I like to describe it is that if you picture us all three together, we would look like 1, 2, 3. It would be like an example of the different body types girls would have. And what I mean by that is that when my one friend, she had a very high metabolism and she was very skinny, and on her good day she would be like a 0. And then my other friend was in between of both of us, where she wasn't too skinny but she wasn't too thick either. And then there was me, who was thick all over. When we got older in grade 12, I remember being very, very literally depressed because I knew these girls were getting more attention than I was, and it could be, like I said, for a number of different reasons, but I really do believe that it was mostly because they were skinnier and I was on the bigger side. So that kind of shaped my perception of myself when I was growing up, and even my relationships with people over time as well. So fast forward to undergrad, when I moved away from home, that's when I really had the opportunity to start losing weight, start just trying to adult. That's when everything changed, and that's when I started to gain a sense of identity, especially when it came to weight gain and stuff like that. So in first year undergrad, that's when I started to really experiment with losing weight, and at first, of course, it was superficial. I wanted to lose weight fast and easily, just get it off and then live the rest of my life. But of course, like everyone knows, if it's not sustainable, it's not healthy. It also means that you're just going to gain it all back later on, and you're just wasting your time and energy. But of course, I didn't believe that when I was 19. I started to do a lot of the crash diets, like the military diet, the keto diet, to just do everything under the book. Started to lose weight, and it was good. Like, I noticed that my friends in university were like, oh, like, you look good. They would always compliment me, but I think they were saying like, oh, you're starting to look like healthier. So they were encouraging me to lose weight, and obviously it feels good to be praised and be recognized for what you're doing. And everyone who is losing weight, I'm sure you guys know that it is not easy, it is not fun, it's hard work. And when you get validated for that kind of stuff, it feels really good. You feel like you're improving yourself, and you are, but the thing is, sometimes it can get way out of line, and for me, that's where it was going. Losing weight and continuing to lose weight drastically, but always gaining it back. And then I remember specifically in third year, when I got the first part-time job at Walmart as a cashier, that's when I really started to notice these things in terms of how people treat me differently, how people talk to me, how people look at me, how much male attention I got, the kind of opportunities that came forward to me when I did start to lose. Once again, there could be a number of different reasons why these things were happening, but I just feel like it's too much of a coincidence for all of this to happen. Because in first year, like, yes, people did look at me, and yes, people thought I was cute or whatever, but in third year, like, it was very overwhelming in a sense, because when you grow up, especially when you're like little, no one really showed me that they liked me, or like just gave me that kind of experience. So I always felt like lower, or I always felt like a background character in my own movie. And when you start to get people recognizing you and like looking at you differently, I also attached my sense of identity to losing weight, because when I was getting this attention, especially the male attention, it was something that's so new and something I was never used to. So when I started to get like an overwhelming wave of it, it was like, oh, like this is really good. Like the more I lose weight, the more people will look at me and like me, and I will start to be a little bit more recognized. And that's when things started to get really out of hand in undergrad. So in my family, when I started to lose weight, my family relationship hasn't really changed. It's just the way that they treated me was like, first before, my mom was like, oh, let's go on a diet together, let's eat this together, you know, just to encourage me to lose weight. Okay, well, now that you lost weight, you can cook whatever and you can eat whatever. And then even from my family friends, people are actually starting to notice me a lot more than they used to. And I feel like before, when I was bigger, in some ways I feel like they were pitying me because I was so young and so overweight. And then once I started to lose weight, that's when they started to recognize me and be like, oh my god, like you look so beautiful, blah blah. So, and the male attention was something that really shaped me. It's like I was developing with that mindset, and I thought it was a part of my identity. But when I really started to lose weight and become more charismatic because of that Walmart job, that's when I noticed that when the male attention was like something that I would always be thriving for. Like so before the whole dating thing happened, like a lot of my friends, they use online dating. I was super against that because I just didn't believe that, you know, like I had that mindset where I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna find the one I like through the old-fashioned way, which I don't really want to use the online dating thing because it just isn't me. But then they were like, oh, just try it, like we'll make a profile for you and then you can delete it. We just want to do this because we have boyfriends, we want to have fun. So I was like, okay, whatever, I can delete it tomorrow. So they were having fun on my profile, and then I noticed that I was getting like a lot of male attention that I never ever thought I could get before. Like people were messaging me, people were like constantly complimenting me, and like of course they would because they're like 19-year-old boys, I should say. So they were very like horny and was like desperate and stuff like that. But no, I didn't really know the line between inappropriate. That's when I started to like really feed on the attention, and that's when I started to really get addicted to that feeling, because when someone compliments me, that boosts your dopamine and makes you feel mentally, physically, and emotionally good. So whenever I got those kind of compliments, I would be like, oh, like, you know, like why not just talk to him a little bit more? But then I would always ghost them because I wasn't ready for anything. I don't know why, but a lot of people hit on me. I'm pretty sure if I look back at it now, in my first 4 months of being a cashier at Walmart in that town, I was sexually harassed like twice a week. I thought that would be a compliment. It's gonna sound sick, but in some ways I did like the sexual harassment because it was just like so intense, and I loved that feeling, you know, being like gratified so instantly. And especially since I was losing weight and like trying to be more talkative and charismatic, I noticed that I was like, oh, like he's right, like I did really look good that day, and like I think I deserved that because I didn't really know, like I said before, what was right or what was good. And so when I started to believe that sexual harassment was the best I could get, that was when I was completely tied to the idea that the skinnier I get, the prettier I am, and therefore the prettier I am, the more attention I get, the more opportunities I have available to me in terms of relationships and jobs and stuff like that. I was more focused on losing weight in a superficial way to look good and to get that male attention versus losing weight in a healthy way. I can see like what the heck is wrong and like what's necessary, what's appropriate, and what's not. Especially during COVID, I had a lot of time to think about what is truly me, and I do realize that weight loss may be tied to my identity, but it's because I've learned the hard way and I've had a lot of these struggles that made me the person I am today. like my life would be around losing weight and looking prettier. At least in my personal experience, there is a major difference in terms of the attention that I received when I was overweight versus when I was thinner. And also I did notice that the way people treated me, the conversations were a lot more different. I did notice that there was a lot more guys coming up to me and being like, hey. I was like, oh, hey. Then later realizing that they wanted to get to know me a little bit more. Yes, it is male attention that I've noticed a difference in, but also family, friends, specifically for Filipino culture. The more good looking you are, the more successful you will be, and the more everyone will like you because you look pretty. When I really started to lose weight and get more fit, I did notice that I was getting a lot of attention too. Because they're like, oh, look at her now, like she's so fit now, like she's skinny. Just before, but they were like there's dessert, you know, and now they're like, who are you dating? What are you doing in your life? What's going on? You know, like I feel like they're a lot, like they're literally more interested in me just because I look prettier. Sorry, I took 10 years overlining my lips. Due to social media and technology, a lot of us do focus on physicality of us because that's the first thing we see and that's the first thing that we notice. And most of the times we really don't allow ourselves to get to know them in a more deeper and more personal level. So I really do think that messes up with our self-esteem, our sense of identity, because a lot of us will focus on the likes or the comments or even just how you look on camera versus how you look in real life and how you act in real life, because people don't see that through, you know, like your stories or how you're filming. A lot of people do tie their identity with the attention that they receive. I don't know, I just believe that if you want to lose weight, I do encourage you to get passionate about it. The number one tip I would start with is trying to change the way you think. If you change the way you think, you will change the entire game. Trying out a diet where you're eating only greens for 2 weeks, change your perspective and look at it as eating greens because it has so many vitamins and minerals that you can't find in processed goods, then that in itself would be more motivating than being like, oh, I only have 2 more days until this challenge is done. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you soon.